Crypto is about to collapse. Bitcoin is about to burst. Everything will collapse and we will lose all our money. I hear these and a lot of similar statements every day. Some of them are true and some of them are complete nonsense. But don't worry, you're about to find out. I'm Alex Mentor, pro crypto with more than 10 years of experience. This is about crypto. Here we go. Many analysts agree that Bitcoin may collapse in 2025. This could be influenced by several factors, including outflows from Bitcoin ETFs and macroeconomic factors, such as the global economic recession and policy uncertainty at the US Federal Reserve. However, if you delve deeper into the problem, you can find much more reasons for the fall and understand the concerns of many analysts about the future price of Bitcoin. Since its inception in 2010, Bitcoin has experienced several significant ups and downs. The largest rises in the coin occurred in 2013, 2017, 2021 and 2024. Typically, every significant increase was followed by a similar decline, and each of the price jumps was accompanied by important events such as halvings and industry regulation, which directly affected the price of Bitcoin. In 2024, the rise of Bitcoin was influenced by the CES's decision to accept Bitcoin ETFs. Thus, the largest investment funds, such as BlackRock, were able to invest their investors' money in Bitcoin. Understanding the price of Bitcoin, like any other asset, contains of fundamental, technical and psychological analysis. A combination of three types of analysis gives an idea of the price of a coin in the future. By analyzing Bitcoin, you can identify many factors that negatively affect its price. Most often, analysts mention inflation in the United States and the Federal Reserve's measures to combat it. Inflation is steadily growing in the country and the central bank is raising the key rate. It was the low rate that was the main driver of growth for risky assets such as Bitcoin. As the key rate increases, loans become more expensive to service. Businesses take them out less and business activity freezes. At the same time, institutional investors are increasingly less likely to take risks and prefer safer assets instead of buying Bitcoin. And as the current year has shown, institutional investors, represented by large funds, can greatly influence the price and set the general mood in the cryptocurrency market. In the opposite direction, if the US central bank rate becomes lower, loans become cheaper. This speeds up the economy and investors begin to buy higher risk assets. I think everything is clear with this. Secondly, the price of Bitcoin is negatively affected by the general state of the global economy. Now, the global market is at the stage of slowing growth and a smooth transition to recession. Thus, the International Monetary Fund, on its World Economic Outlook, announced that in 2025, global economic growth will be only 3.3%. This is the weakest level of growth in the last 30 years. In this state of the economy, as I mentioned earlier, investors are seeking to purchase more reliable assets. This means that money that could have gone to buying Bitcoin and pumping up its value will instead go to safe instruments such as gold and treasury bonds. Thirdly, the price of Bitcoin is affected by the outflow of funds from the Bitcoin ETF, which pumped up Bitcoin in the year 2024. Back in the spring, we read the news that the stage of pumping Bitcoin due to the entry of ETF funds into it had ended and growth had slowed down. And due to the transition of investors to more reliable assets, ETF funds have already begun to empty, which naturally caused an outflow of funds from Bitcoin and a decrease in the price of the main cryptocurrency. This factor is only gaining momentum and can be fully revealed in 2025. You must understand that the price of any coin is affected by supply and demand. If there are more buyers than sellers, then price naturally goes up. Conversely, if there are more sellers than buyers, the price obviously falls. The price of Bitcoin is most influenced by large players, institutions and market makers. They have much larger volumes than the average crypto investor, which means that if they start selling off their position, the price is likely to go down. This is exactly the forecast we have for the year 1025. However, it's always worth keeping in mind that even the most severe fall will definitely be followed by growth, and on horizon of 5 to 10 years we will definitely see an increase in Bitcoin, breaking through its ATH and even an increase of hundreds of percent. Remember that the economy is cyclical, and it's important to sit out the crisis situation in really strong assets that can withstand crisis pressure. And Bitcoin is just that. This is a fundamental project with many utilities. It's the longest-lived crypto asset in existence and has survived every crypto winter that has ever existed. Among all the rather risky crypto sectors, Bitcoin is the safest for investment. However, it's not always the most profitable. It's important to compare potential risks and returns. For example, with a very small increase in risks, you can find many times more profitable altcoins. So, for example, before the last alt season in 2021, you could buy a Cardano coin and earn 30x on it in a year. At the same time, it would be possible to earn only 3x's on Bitcoin. Therefore, I still prefer to buy fundamentally strong altcoins with strong teams that can provide many times higher profits with comparable risks. And if you want to learn more about which altcoins are worth investing in, be sure to subscribe to our Telegram channel. In it, we talk about the situation on the market and share ideas of strong altcoins in which we invest ourselves. Although we can make more money on altcoins than on Bitcoin, we shouldn't lose sight of the fact that Bitcoin is essentially the main coin in the crypto, and changing its price directly affects all other coins. Currently, Bitcoin dominance is 55%. This means that more than half of all cryptocurrency money is invested in Bitcoin. And if we add Ethereum and the USDT stable, we get that more than 75% of all money in cryptocurrency is concentrated in just 3 coins. Obviously, thousands of altcoins, which together occupy less than 25% of the market, will depend on the price of Bitcoin. Despite the negative factors that should affect the price of Bitcoin in the future, there are also a number of positive factors that can soften the negativity around Bitcoin and even trigger a growth stage. Among the main positive factors are Bitcoin halving. Traditionally, after Bitcoin halving, when miners begin to receive half as many coins for mining, the price of the asset rises. However, this effect is delayed over time and the price doesn't rise instantly. The last Bitcoin halving occurred on the 20th of April 2024. However, after previous halvings, changes in the price of Bitcoin began only 6 months after their occurrence. That is, the reaction to the current halving can begin only at the end of 2024. Another positive factor could be the acceptance of cryptocurrencies in the United States, as well as various concessions and tax breaks for the sector. Changes may come after the US elections, which will take place in November this year. Now, both candidates expressed their positive attitude towards cryptocurrencies and intend to make positive changes to the legislation. Also positive for Bitcoin will be the psychological expectation of the growth of cryptocurrencies and the onset of the alt season. The crypto community agrees that in 2025-2026 there may be rapid growth in Bitcoin. And as we know, psychological expectation can also influence investors and the decisions they make. Let's predict the price of Bitcoin for the next few years ourselves. To do this, we will go to the calculator from Binance, and in the Enter Your Price Growth Prediction field we will enter the value of 30%. Many analysts agree that 30% growth is adequate for Bitcoin over several years. In the resulting table, we see that by 2026, a Bitcoin could cost $94,000, and by 2030, it would already cost $270,000. However, it's important to understand that this is only a forecast, and it doesn't always coincide with reality. Well, in order not to miss the growth of Bitcoin, I have prepared a number of recommendations for you. Try to follow the market. Even if you are not actively taking action, it's important to monitor the latest news at least once a week. It's also important to be part of the community where you can always ask questions and ask the opinions of more experienced colleagues about the market situation. And we just have such a community in our Telegram channel, so subscribe if you haven't already. It's important to understand in what period you are investing. Always open the Bitcoin chart on the maximum time frame and see where you are in order to understand whether Bitcoin is currently trading expensive or cheap and which cycle is predominant: growth, decline or sideways. The best prices are on the side after the fall. During the fall, buying Bitcoin is risky, as the fall may continue. It's also important to overcome your psychological barrier and sell an asset when it has grown, and not hold it further in anticipation of new excess. The same should be done with the purchase of tokens. Don't wait for a good price, but buy if you think the price is good enough. Buying a ladder will help with this. That is, we form a position in several transactions with an interval of a month and thereby obtain the average price that was established in the market during the purchase period. You can do the same with selling so as not to try to find the highs, but to get the average price. That's all for me. Remember that the future of Bitcoin is uncertain and subject to many factors. Analysts try to predict price movements, but this is not always possible. There are both negative and positive factors in the market that will affect Bitcoin in 2025. Negative factors: outflow of funds from Bitcoin ETFs, global recession and high inflation in the United States. And in positive factors: Bitcoin halving, changes in US legislation and psychological expectations of growth. Bitcoin is still the longest-lived crypto asset and is safe enough for long-term investment. However, do not forget to compare potential risks with expected returns and follow the principles of risk management. What do you think? Is Bitcoin expected to fall in 2025, or will positive factors still prevail? Write in the comments your forecasts of the price that will be on January 1st, 2025. And also don't forget to like, subscribe and ring the bell to be the first to receive new videos. See you very soon. Bye.